What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, and daily news. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so, and I will keep you up to date. And as always, thanks for hitting the like button for us down below. Democratic leader Pramila Jayapal has some interesting things to say here about the stimulus package and the agenda going on right now. Listen to what she has to say. Here we go.
All right, welcome back. We've got some breaking news to get to shortly. But for now, with all eyes focused on Russia's invasion of Ukraine, there's concern that the domestic agenda is being pushed to the back burner, with critical issues like police reform, voting rights, and Build Back Better stuck in limbo. So how can Dems address the crisis abroad and take care of business here at home? And the Republicans are not off the hook either. Joining me now, Representative Pramila Jayapal. She's chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Congresswoman, I'm so happy to have you with us this morning. Thank you for being here. Look, Ukraine is sucking up all the oxygen in the room right now. Understandably, what happens there will cast a wide net of influence across the globe. So I understand that makes sense. But there is still important policy issues facing people here at home. Chief among them, I'd say, is voting rights, which is crucially important in a midterm year. We're seeing this play out in real time in Texas, which just had its primary this week. President Biden is meeting with the Labor Secretary and labor leaders today. A lot happening here domestically. So I think what people are concerned about is, can the Democratic majority walk and chew gum at the same time? Your thoughts?
Tiffany, first of all, it's great to see you as always. Look, I think that is exactly what we have to do. We can't take our eyes off of any of the things that we need to get done. And I think you heard President Biden walking this line during the State of the Union. About a third of the speech was about Ukraine, which is a massive issue for us in the United States. Obviously, a war on the European continent affects everybody, and it affects us in terms of, the basics of how we operate every day, including, of course, gas prices. But I will just say that there is a connection between what we are trying to do domestically and what we are trying to do internationally. Let me give you three ways that that's the case. First of all, democracy. We are both in the European Union and, with the war on Ukraine, the aggression of Russia on Ukraine, and here in the United States, we are trying to show that democracy works. We cannot allow suppression of votes domestically, nor can we allow dictators in Europe or anywhere in the world to take over. So that is a real connection. Secondly, if we ever want to be truly free of the ability of dictators to blackmail us over oil and gas, we should be investing right here at home in renewable energy technologies. We should be weaning ourselves of fossil fuels so that this situation that we're in does not happen again in terms of feeling like we can't stop Russian oil and gas imports because it's going to drive up prices here at home. By the way, no matter what we do, prices of gas are going to go up. So any Republicans who try to say that it's drill, baby, drill, and that solves the problem, it's wrong. That is not the case. We are going to see gas prices rise, but it is in service to trying to quell a dictator. And finally, if we want democracy to work, Tiffany, then we've also got to show that we don't have these massive inequalities of wealth and income, which is why we need to lower the cost of childcare, lower the cost of housing, lower the cost of prescription drugs, so that we can show people that it actually matters to have a democratic country, a country that invests in everybody. So that's how I see these two things going hand in hand together, and it's why we're not going to stop working on the domestic agenda.
She probably brings up a good point. There's a lot of particularly Republicans that bring up drill, baby, drill, that we should be drilling for more oil here in the U.S. The U.S. is the #1 supplier of oil, but I kind of think that we should be selling less oil overseas. Remember, about 38% of our oil is sold to other countries, just like Russia is selling oil. We buy about 8% of our oil from Russia. Again, this fluctuates by the day. Some days it might be 7%, some days it might be 9%, but we sell about 38% of our oil. So we could be energy independent just by not selling so much of our oil. But remember that the price of oil has been going up just because of the war on Russia. Okay, remember oil, price of oil. As you can see here, the price of oil, WTI crude is at $115, and Brent crude is at $118. It's gone up dramatically. I mean, just a week or so ago, it was less than $100 per barrel. You could also see this breaking news here. Russia threatens departing oil companies, which is almost all major oil companies at this point. BP, Shell, Exxon, they're all departing from Russia. Russia is threatening them with prosecution. Prosecution from, they're saying that any oil companies that leave Russia, that Russia will be able to prosecute the executives of those companies criminally. Criminally. I think it'll be interesting to see how they're going to do that, because I don't think any executives are going to enter into Russia. But that's what Russia is saying. You can also see here analysts warn of $150 oil if the West bans Russian crude, which remember that Senator Joe Manchin and Nancy Pelosi and a lot of Republicans are saying that we should ban Russian oil and not buy it anymore from the U.S. should not be buying any Russian oil. And that is a very real possibility that that could happen as early as next week. Now, as of right now, President Biden has said he doesn't want to do this because this would send the price of gas even higher. Now, he wants to do it because he doesn't want to buy oil from Putin. He would like to not buy oil from Putin, but he doesn't want to inflict more economic pain on Americans. So you see, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. What do we do? And that's where what Jayapal said there is that having more renewable oil here, or I'm sorry, renewable energy, solar, wind power, things like that, drilling more here in the U.S. would help a little bit. Having more supply of oil would help a little bit. But remember that the price of oil is the price of oil. It's on a global scale. So, and we've seen this for years. Whenever they have a conflict in Saudi Arabia, the price of oil goes up. Whenever there's a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, the price goes up. It goes up worldwide. That's why we're seeing the price of oil go up now. So even if we drill, baby, drill here in the U.S., which I agree, we should drill more, no doubt. The price, it's not going to affect the price of oil that much. It's not like we're going to see the price of oil plummet and gas is going to go back down to $2.50 a gallon. I hate to tell you guys this, it's just not going to happen. It might bring down the price of gas a little bit. But remember, the price of oil is a global price. It's a global price, guys. It's not just here in the U.S. And that's why we're seeing these prices of gas here in the U.S. the highest that I have ever seen them. The national average here is $4 a gallon on the average. Of course, in California, they're over $5 a gallon. And just a month ago, they were $3.43. So they've gone up 57 cents in 1 month. Because of Russia, because of the Russian war. There's nothing else that has happened in the last month. Price of oil just skyrocketing. And if we stop buying Russian oil, it's going to go up even more. It's going to go up even more. But that might be what we have to do. What we have to do. But maybe they can compensate the American people with anti-inflationary checks. We have several states actually doing this, considering doing this, and proposing doing this. If you've been watching my channel, you know this. There's a lot of different states that are sending out stimulus checks or proposing stimulus checks to give money back to their residents right now to deal with inflation and to deal with the rising price of gas and the rising price of um, everything right now because of how bad it is right now. And it's going to be getting worse because look at what gas has done in the last month. And when gas goes up, the price of everything goes up because they have to ship everything to the stores. They have to ship milk to the stores. They have to ship eggs to the stores. They have to ship bread to the stores. They have to ship shoes and clothing to the stores. So, unfortunately, that's not going to get better, but they should be using our stimulus dollars to help the people out in need right now. That's what stimulus dollars is for. Remember, there's $800 billion of stimulus money that's already approved that they could use for this on the federal level, not just state money. I just resent this out yesterday to our lawmakers and to the president here on Twitter. There's $800 billion of stimulus money already approved that is just sitting there. You can use half of this money to send out a forced stimulus check out to the people in need now. This won't add debt or inflation because it's already been approved. I tagged the President of the United States, Vice President Bernie Sanders, AOC, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and I tagged a whole bunch of other senators and representatives, Ron Wyden, a whole bunch of the Senate Finance Chairman, all sorts of other people here in the following comments here. And this is exactly what they need to do to help compensate people for this incredible inflation that people are dealing with right now. And this is exactly what stimulus dollars are for, to help people in need right now. And there's $800 billion of stimulus money that's already been approved that's just sitting there. So I'm here as a voice for you guys, sending this out to the president, to the vice president, to people, to members of Congress, and to the senators who have been elected to help out the people of the United States. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Right now, the echo chambers are laser focused on Ukraine, which means a lot of other things get overlooked. Police brutality is still very much an issue. There are still viral video clips of people getting abused. Voter suppression, as we've talked about, is still very much an issue. So I think what the American people want to know, especially as it's a midterm year and the Democrats go out there and ask for another chance to maintain control of the legislative branch, is what can Congress get done? Voter legislation has died. Police reform has died. And so when you ask the American people to trust you again, what is it that you're offering?
Yes, very good point. We are about to unveil a slate of executive actions, the Congressional Progressive Caucus will, that address all of these different areas. I want to be clear, it's not going to be as good as legislation, but we have to cancel student debt. We have to do, there are some things we can do around criminal justice from an executive perspective. The Department of Justice can do them. We need to make sure we're bringing down the cost of prescription drugs. We can do that through margin rights. We need to take on climate change. These are executive actions that can happen with this president. But in addition, I have not given up on passing a bill that takes on climate change, that addresses childcare, that cuts that makes the tax system more fair and that cuts the cost of prescription drugs. I believe that something like that is possible. We're going to continue to push on it. But at the end of the day, Tiffany, just really quickly, this is what we have to remember. If it were easy, it would have been done. And there is nobody in the history of civil rights in the world that stopped when we came up against barriers. So we need bigger majorities in the House and the Senate if we're really going to be able to deliver on some of the things we need to deliver on.
So Pramila Jayapal said that she's going to be, or they're going to be unveiling some executive actions there. She didn't say what they were, but that's interesting. So yeah, that'll be very interesting to see what happens there. We've had a lot of Democrats, including Pramila Jayapal herself, that have been calling on President Biden to pass stimulus measures through executive action. So there's been a lot of Democrats calling for that. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I think that there's going to be a lot of action here this year before the election A lot of Democrats like Bernie Sanders, who's not really a Democrat. He's an independent, but he's kind of a Democrat. He votes with the Democrats. Says that they're going to have to do a lot of big things before the election. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here with this new Build Back Better package, which might be called Made in America. What they do with that, what they do with executive action, executive orders, what they do with canceling student loan debt. With student loans are going to be restarted here at the end of next month. April 30th is the last day where everybody with federal student loans are just going to have to start repaying on them on May 1st. April 30th will be the last day for payment pause. So it'll be interesting what happens there. I think they've been paused for like 2 years now, from former President Donald Trump and Biden. So it's been a long, long time. That's been a stimulus measure that a lot of people have benefited from. There's like 40 some million Americans that have student loans, and they haven't had to pay on them for like 2 years or over 2 years. So that has helped a lot of people, but at some point they're going to have to start paying on them again, and that's going to suck for a lot of people, because a lot of people that's like another car payment, or I mean everybody's payments are different, but yeah, and I know that we go back to that story from this guy on Twitter. He says, "I'm 27 years old. I have $120,000 in student loan debt from an undergraduate degree. I've been paying $970 a month for 5 years, almost $1,000 a month. Think about that. That's a whole house payment. It's like a whole rent payment, right? In fact, for some people, it's more than their rent payment. So we've been paying $970 a month for 5 years, and he's of the nearly $60,000 he's paid in that time. Only $2,000 has gone towards his loan or towards his principal. So he's paid almost $58,000 in interest and only $2,000 in principal. And he asks, how is this even legal? Hashtag cancel student loan debt. President Biden has said he is willing to cancel potentially up to $10,000 of student loan debt. But you can see why student loan debt is so bad for so many people, because he's paid $60,000 and only $2,000 of it has gone to principal. And there's so many people that struggle with this. There's 40 some million people, adults, that have student loan debt. And many of them aren't even in college anymore. They're just fully out there. And many people, there's actually a lot of people that actually are near or in retirement that still have student loan debt. It's literally crazy, literally crazy. And you think that these are people that took out these loans when they were 18 years old. 18 years old, and life's probably very different for them now. Who knows if they're even using those degrees? Life. Who knows what has happened with life? And I think that if and when they cancel more student loan debt, remember they did about $11 billion of student loan debt last year. They've already done some mostly with people with disabilities, people that had their schools defraud them and their schools closed on them, and people in the public student service forgiveness programs. They've already had some student loan forgiveness programs that have been forgiven this year as well. I'll keep you up to date on that. But they're pushing to do $10,000 of student loan for everybody, or even up to $50,000. A lot of Democrats want. But I think that if and when they do that for everybody, then I think there'll be a big push to do other types of debt forgiveness for the people who didn't get that $10,000 or more. And they could do that as well. They could do it through a stimulus package, or they could just do it if there's other things that the government can do, even just forgive it, like the student loan debt forgiveness that's owned by the government, which is about 95%. They don't even need the debt that they've already forgiven on student loans. They just forgive it. They don't even need it to pass it through Congress because the government owns it. They just forgive it. So other money they could forgive. Tax debt forgiveness and a lot of mortgage debt forgiveness is actually owned by the government. Okay, so that can be just forgiven. And also, they could do credit card debt forgiveness, medical debt forgiveness, and just regular debt forgiveness, but that would have to be done through a stimulus package. So they can do that because they're literally doing billions of dollars of student loan debt forgiveness as well. So let me know your thoughts. I know a lot of that stuff sounds crazy, but they've also sent out 3 stimulus checks. They've also sent out student loan debt forgiveness. They also sent out monthly stimulus checks to children, literally just for being born, called the child tax credits. They're also sending out rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, water assistance, electricity assistance, a lot of different money just literally going out here because of the pandemic and all sorts of different things. So I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember those times and tune in at those times so you don't miss out on new videos. After subscribing, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so you get reminders when we go live with new videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next, and you can click here to see how some states are offering anti-inflation stimulus checks, and we could see even more of those here coming up soon. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.